And I hear this voice that says, take your family and leave this place and don't look back.
In 2007, an African-American barber in his early 30s was living in West Helena, a crime-riddled city, working at a local barbershop. On one late spring afternoon, Mr. Boyce was cutting a client's hair when he heard a voice speak to him.
I thought of the word in my mind. I'm trying to finish a client. I didn't even have the TV on that day. Usually I have BET on playing. And I hear this voice that says, take your family and leave this place and don't look back.
Mr. Boyce recognized these words from the Bible.
When I hear this, I recognize it from the Bible, the Word of God. You know what I'm saying? He had told Lot to take his family and leave, you know what I'm saying, Sodom and don't look back.
Mr. Boyce began to look for somewhere to go immediately after God spoke to him, but his wife didn't want to leave.
I mentioned it to my wife, and she didn't want to go nowhere. She had never been, you know what I'm saying, lived anywhere else. We had just added on to the house, 880 square feet, hadn't even stayed in the room yet. Everything was just going good, so we thought. Everything was great, so we thought.
Despite his wife not wanting to leave, Mr. Boyce began to look for places in Russellville. His wife hated every house they looked at, except one.
We go and we look at this house that's on this paper, and this one she was comfortable with. Now everything else, you know what I'm saying, she was not comfortable with, but this one she was comfortable with it. And I even offered the lady, the realtor at that moment, I had a little money in my pocket, so I offered her several months of rent, and she told me that she couldn't do it because there was a process that she had to go through. And at that moment I thought, well, I'm not going to get it.
He began to have conflict with his wife whether they should leave West Helena or not. Mr. Boyce felt strongly about fulfilling God's will.
I said, well, you can go. I said, but me and my children, you can stay, but me and my children, we got to go. And so I prayed to God. I said, Lord, I don't want to be wrong. If this was you, show me it was you.
The next very week, after Mr. Boyce asked God to show him, he was at work when a client came in that he was very familiar with. They had a conversation that would change Mr. Boyce's life forever.
And this guy, not knowing that I was even planning on moving, this was a guy that came probably once every 6 months. And he got up out the chair. He said, God told me to tell you something. He said, he loved you like the lilies of the field. He said, be encouraged. This is just the beginning. Don't look back. And when he said that, man, I just stuck my hand out and shook his hand. I said, I needed that. This was confirmation, for me. So
That day, when Mr. Boyce told his wife about this, it comforted her. She was willing to move. The realtor from Russellville even called him back with good news.
Right, a couple of days after, I'm telling one of my clients what this guy said. And then the lady, the realtor from here, she called me on the phone and she said, you still interested in the property here in Russellville? I said, yes, ma'am. When do I need to be there? You don't have to be here till the first of the month. I'll be there this weekend. So I came that weekend and paid the deposit and, first month's rent or whatever. And that's, how we end up here.
15 years later, Tommy Boyce owns his own business, In Focus Barbershop and Hair Salon, and also owns his own house. My name is Richie Logan. Thank you for listening to my audio story.